Today I'm here in the village of Chandor, and only because you guys are following Gomantak Times YouTube channel, I'm going to explore the village along with the help of the soul traveling team. Let's go!
An entire altar has been carved on a wood, painted with actual 24 karat gold. It is still 24 karat gold. The gold what you see, it's not just a gold pin, it's a 24 karat gold. For women, there has to be another place where they might to be a safer, right? So this room itself has another changing room. But what if there's a war happening, right? There's an attack. So if there's an attack, there is a thing for women to escape. Oh my God, you have... This is escape route where it goes a tunnel down, access to the river, ship comes, you sit in the ship, go to another property where you have back then. Hi, how are you? Okay, so welcome to Soul Traveling. This is a small souvenirs from us. You can wear this badge as well, and we'll start with the experience. So today we are here. Okay, can you read the name of the church?
Nossa
Yes, it's Nossa Sra de Bellem or Nossa Senhora de Bellem.
Okay.
And do you know the meaning of it?
No.
It speaks or it says about Our Lady of Bethlehem. So you know, in Goa, Goa is known for churches, right? And people say that if just because the church looks white, every church is same in a way. Yes, we do worship in a church as well, but each church is dedicated to a different saint or to a different life or phase of Jesus, right? So this church speaks about a place where Jesus was born, and this is technically dedicated to a place where Jesus was born, Our Lady of Bethlehem. And there are only few churches in Goa which are dedicated. There's one, this church, there's Three Kings Chapel as well, and there's another one in Goa. This is a very functional church known as Gothic and Neo-Gothic architecture. Now, do you know what is Gothic and Neo-Gothic architecture? Okay, we all have seen cartoon movies, right? It speaks about a castle architecture. Now, you would ask me a question saying, why Gothic and Neo-Gothic? So, we believe that this is the second Catholic structure in Chandor village, a church. Initially, first chapel was constructed, and they say that when this church was constructed, it was in old form, and when it started raining with a heavy rain, the main facade of the church got collapsed, and then this was newly constructed. So, the backside of the church has an old architecture of Gothic, and this the front face, the facade has a Neo-Gothic. It's known as Tarvoti Bando, and they are the people who help everyone to get a secure job and expand their own life and everything. That's why we have all these big mansions, and we believe that every villa has a car and a big house. That speaks about Tarvoti community. Okay. Followed by that, we have these nice structures here outside the church compound. If you see, do you know what are these known as? These are known as mausoleums. The mausoleum is something same like Taj Mahal, a tombstone. Now what happens is in Goa, of course, Portuguese were not like Indians or they're not a Goan blood. They were the outsiders who came to Goa, right? So when they considered a church area, they had a very limited area to make a funeral or a burial yard. And when they had that, what they do is, especially for our funeral or cemetery area, we call it, today it's yours and tomorrow it's mine, because the area is very less, and we bury a person, and after the death of persons, like after burial of a person, 3 to 5 years, we remove the remains, we open it and we use it for another person. We replace another person, right? But when it comes to a royal family or a person who holds a very high position in the society, that person will be given a privilege. A church will give him a privilege, something like this, where he can keep his remains of his loved ones. And these mausoleums, this belongs to Braganza Pereira, and that belongs to Braganza Menezes. The one house which we'll be visiting is Braganza Pereira. Okay. So this is the second location. We are here to explore the Braganza Pereira house. So let's go in. Initially, if you see Portuguese or Indo-Portuguese houses, technically in Goa, there is no Portuguese house. There's Indo-Portuguese houses which either you see on a high level with 8 to 10 staircases or with 2 floors. So usually this royal families, the ground floor was given for servants to stay as a servant's quarter, and also half part of the down quarters was also given as a storage room. They could store, and they prefer staying on the first floor. So the thing is, they never believed in caste system, but they believed in class system. So they prefer staying in the high class because they belong to the high class. This is Braganza Pereira house. This house is more than 500 years old house. From the furniture to everything is preserved and kept as intact as it was, like from that time. So that's Mr. Antonio Francisco Santana Pereira. He used to be known as a Viceroy of Spain back then, who used to be in Goan, but who used to represent Portugal back then. So if you see all the furniture what they have ASFP and AFSP, Antonio Francisco Santana Pereira. his initials as well. And they do have few things which have been bought and kept here. So this house is known for a ruby crystal candle stand, actual ruby. This is a ruby crystal candle stand, which is known to be one of the very expensive one in the areas. It's been kept in this particular village because they own it. But only one thing which was never bought in Goa from outside to Goa was wooden furniture, because we had this thing, someone to make in Goa. A Chari community, especially now they stay in Kunkolim village, they were the people who had a lot of skill and they used to do this wood carving and everything in Goa.
So basically all this is done by
furniture. Yeah, furniture has been done here, but the marble, this marble would have been bought somewhere from outside. So we have a nice cute love seat also there. So of course now we have chit chat time for Instagram to social media, but initially for a couple to sit, they used to use a love seat. Now your question was what things have been kept the same.
Yes.
From the furniture to the wall painting are been not redone, kept as intact, which existed back then as well. So this is the gallery where they have kept all the things, whatever they had in their family, to showcase to people. And do you know what is this? It's a coconut. It's a coconut from Seychelles Island, which you find only on Seychelles Island. You can't get it back now. And if you see the Seychelles flag, you find it on the flag. So it's known as Coco de Mer. So it's known as Coco de Mer. The family pictures and the crockery which they used to use back then is used as a wall plates. And this is a crockery which is made in Goa but not like very old. You find it like in recent market as well. This is the old postcards what they have. So you know a lot of family members have this habit of storing postcard stamps, because the way we have snaps and stories and highlights. Similarly, this something used to be where people, they travel, they carry with them. So if you see stamps, pictures, postcards, these are all postcards of olden times. So this is a sandalwood jewelry box. People usually find it in Mysore. Someone who traveled to Mysore, they have got 3 small cupboards here. These cupboards, these things are not very old, but the gift and the souvenirs given by the family, friends and relatives to the family when they thought to open the house of public. And this is a writing table which has sunburst motif. They used to write down things here. It's a dining room. If you see on top, the ceiling is upside down boat shape ceiling, right? It's a boat shaped ceiling. These are the oyster shells tray got from Philippines. 10-legged dining tables where easily 20 people can have a sit and do lunch. If you have not like a lot of people, you can remove the center, join the ends, and then you make it a smaller. Yes, or you remove both and you make it a medium. Yes, and surprisingly, you know what are these? So these are beer mugs. It has a copper inside, and technically has a copper layer inside is because to keep the beer chilled or cool. So these are beer mugs. I wish I would have been in that oldish time. This is an old fridge which used to function on kerosene. Now it doesn't function, but they have kept it to showcase to the people, but they used to use kerosene because back then there was not electricity, so they used to use kerosene for this. Here they have all their silver utensils as well. These are the gin bottles. So this is the family chapel. So usually we have family altars in Goa, right? Every family has an altar. But this family has a chapel because somewhere back then they used to have a priest also conducting a mass at their places, but now they don't have a priest. They conduct a very, a festival mass, but initially they used to have their everyday masses as well. Something like high class people have their own things in their houses, okay? Now this chapel is not only famous because they have a chapel in their houses. The chapel is also famous because they have a fingernail of Saint Francis Xavier given to them as a souvenir. Inside the light there's a small gold diamond stud inside. Inside that there's a fingernail kept of Saint Francis Xavier. And an entire altar is been carved on a wood, painted with actual 24 karat gold. It is still 24 karat gold. The gold what you see, it's not just a gold pin, it's a 24 karat gold. And all these candles, all these candle stands have been actual pure silver. So this is kind of a very old confessional chair. Initially we have confessional chambers, right? Where you sit and no one says. But initially the priest will sit here and a person will kneel down and they'll speak up here. You see the holes here for the wood so that the things have been heard. This is one of the old kind of confessional chair what they used to use, and I don't know if they still use it, but they've kept it in their chapel. So you remember I told you about the king gifting something. So with the coat of arms, these beautiful chairs were gifted to Antonio Francisco Santana Pereira and to his wife by the King of Portugal, apparently the last king of Portugal dynasty. With that, in Goa, we are also known for our celebrations as well, either it's Indian classical or Western classical, right? So when it comes to a conclusion, we all are known for our celebrations. So So each family in Goa, very wealthy family, used to have their own spacious room for celebrations, and we all have seen in Disney World being a ballroom, and today we're experiencing a Briganza Pereira ballroom, a place where they get married, like they celebrate their marriages, their functions, birthdays to christening to communion. This place has been amazing. Now there are chandeliers which have been used from the old times. The shift is from candle to electricity. Okay, main thing has been changed is because of the better cost of fee. Now the one thing which they have not untouched is a wall painting. You see the wall painting, right? Looks like a marble, but not a marble. It's a hand painting. It is just copied, made like a marble so that it can accompany a marble. This.
The only time I can feel royal and be in the presence of royal is by these chairs.
This is a guest room, which has a very common thing what we have. They have, so if you see, this is a wood and a marble, but they also have oyster shells for a decoration. It's mother of pearl for both the cupboard and the dressing table as well. Of course, women's also coming up as a guest, so they have dressing table. They have a bed to rest, and they have, what is palanquin? Palanquin to carry, right? So this is one person's palanquin to carry. This is an open wardrobe. It was used for hats, coats, trousers, and this was for shoes. So this is to be an open wardrobe. They have an emergency commode as well in the house. So this is to be an emergency commode. So down this to keep a basket, and a person used to use it. There used to be a lot of slaves here in the village or in the particular house. Slaves and servants working. Wow. So they used to use it because actually in Goa there never used to be a washroom inside the house. There used to be outside the house, and we call it parsakadi. It's behind the house. So whenever there's an emergency, they used to use something like this. This is a wash basin, a bowl, and a jug of water. This is a container to keep the soap. So as I spoke about the single palanquin, this is a closed palanquin where two people would be here, sitting here, and four people carrying it. Two people at each side. This is a closed one, and we have an opened one. This is an opened one, and always two people sitting carrying. But do you know, you might have a question that who would carry this? So Goa had one of the biggest slave market back then in old Goa, just opposite Say Cathedral. Okay, and the heavy and the wealthiest and the huge man, the African people, they were the slaves and they were imported here. These heavy and healthy people were told to carry all these palanquins. Okay, and then we spoke about a mausoleum. Right before mausoleum, when we bury a person, this is the tombstones of Antonio Francisco de Santana Pereira and his wife Maria Rita da Cunha de Pereira. So when they died, their tombstones were kept there, and when their remains were removed, it was kept in the mausoleum, and these are the things which have been kept inside the house. So here you see that it has coat of arms. It has cross. Yes, it has cross for Christianity, dove for peace and purity, and stars for Christmas. Today we are here to explore the remains of a temple or excavation site of a temple area. Now this particular place was known as Ishwarache Gaur or a Mahadev Temple back then by the local people, and we believe that when the Delhi Sultanate troops started coming up to the coastal area to destroy areas, that's the time when this area was destroyed. This was a temple which was constructed back then in the 7th century by the Kadambas, because Chandor village is a town which was expanded by the Kadambas as the first recorded capital of Goa, started from 4th century to 14th century. This is a Nandi bull, a very different stone, right? A basalt stone, okay? And what happens is in Goa, we do not find any basalt stone when we dig the area. We don't find any basalt stones. But how basalt stones are here? A lot of people who ruled Goa imported basalt stones to Goa to use for temples and everything. So a lot of temples in Goa has been constructed by the basalt stones during Kadamba period. So the Nandi bull was made, but if you come this side, you'll see a belly of the Nandi bull has been broken here. Now why this Nandi bull was harmed or Nandi bull was broken? The Nandi bull was broken is because they thought that there might be expensive jewels and stones kept inside the statue. So they thought to break it, and surprisingly these stones are very strong stones, but still it was broken.
So the statue is made of basalt stone, but these are bricks, so why?
Okay, so these bricks, if you can see, there are a lot of new bricks and there are a lot of old bricks as well, right? So this temple was constructed by the bricks and not by the basalt stone. Now they say that these villages still have the bricks baking system or the making system, and these bricks are being made and baked twice and then later used. So that was another kind of construction what they've used, and it's still founded out, and they've replaced a lot of new bricks to it to showcase the people. So every place you see a lot of old bricks, and then these are the new bricks which have been very newly made, but these are the old ones which were removed during excavation site. So today we are here to another house. The last house of the trail is this is known as Sarah Fernandez house, and also known as Adlang or Adlang, one of the very oldest house, which speaks about Kadambas, about Portuguese coming up, about conversion, about people staying here, a family coming from one religion and merging to another religion. Okay, a very old house, has a very rustic view, and also it has a surprise element as well. So we'll see it later. Okay, come. So this is a palanquin where when a person is not feeling well, to carry that person, or even when a person is traveling at night, imagine a lady who's traveling, she would sleep here and then the palki was carried with these people. I spoke about slaves, right? So these are the clothes for the slaves used to wear. So these are clothes which have been kept here, the slaves which they used to wear. A typical cotton cloth because a lot of heat in Goa, so they used to be like, when their thing was taught. So something like this here. So as we spoke about different cultures, right? So initially, Sarah Fernandez family were a Hindu family, and that's the deity what they used to worship. So that's the coconut, and it has a trunk like Lord Ganesha, and they believe that once in a 50 years that one coconut comes up from their plantation. Now with this, they have these 4 idols of the worship, Hindu idols as well. They have Hanuman, the monkey god what we worship. They have Vittal Rukmai, a face of a protector and his wife of the universe. There's Lord Ganesh, and here we have, we worship 7 sisters, right? So this is Saptamateshwari what we worship. So this is the olden time what they used to worship. They've still kept it there, and they might have found it when they were doing restoration and everything in the house. Okay, so it's a royal family house, right? It's a warrior class family house, a landlord's house. So initially what happens is a lot of wars, a lot of people coming up, fights and everything. For women, there's to be another place where they might to be a safer, right? So this room itself has another changing room. But what if there's a war happening, right? There's an attack. So if there's an attack, there is a thing for women to escape.
Oh my gosh, you have...
This is escape route where it goes a tunnel down, access to the river, ship comes, you sit in the ship, go to another property where you have back then. So this house is still known as Sarah Fernandez house, a lady, quite famous personality in Goa. She is the lady who is known to be the first lady who received the driving license, the first lady who received the gun license as well, and she's the lady who, in spite of widows have not respected that much, but she moved out of her house, took care of her family and raised her family. So she's a very famous personality in village, and people still value and respect her. So this is the last spot for our House of Goa tour. We usually come here because we show how people are trying to get connected as well. So this is a Kotambi bridge, a metallic bridge which we just constructed for the local people to come and to make travel easy. Because if you go to the other side, it technically takes 10 to 15 minutes. And it takes like max just 2 minutes walk and you're into different village. Now even if you're walking, right, like talking, within like 2 minutes we'll be there in the other village. And apart from that, yes, this place has an amazing view. River Kushavati flowing up, both the area, there's coconut plantation. They have a small boat as well where they do evening fishing. And with this amazing view, we end the experience here.
Nice.
So yes.
Bye guys. So this was a glimpse of the Chandor trail given by Soul Traveling. If you want to have the same experience, you know who to contact. For more such content, don't forget to like, subscribe to Gomantak Times YouTube channel, your gateway to Goa.